Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world.
I've been looking around for salvation. I've been looking around for the truth. All around me I see frustration, and I looked all over till I found you. I sit and listen to your stories, and you're telling me, please don't worry. There's a lot in this world you should know, and love in life is where you should go. If you're looking for somewhere to go, if you're looking for someone to know, if you're looking for someone to guide you, then love in life will guide you.
Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Well, tonight we've got quite a handful of people joining us. The leadership of the SNP. I'll get to that in just a second. But first, just some admin, and especially for the Loving Life family, we have some very exciting news. We are on the cusp of launching some big things on lovinglifetv.com. This is a huge shout out to Rudy, Gareth, Nat and Daryl, who are all working behind the scenes on what will soon be the largest one-stop online platform of South African news and views. I'm hoping to make some announcements in the next couple of days on what's going to happen there. It's very exciting. Okay, tonight we're talking to the leadership of the Spectrum National Party, or SNP. Joining us will be Christopher Claassen, the president, Nozuko Makwayiba, the deputy black president, John Stapleveldt, the deputy brown president, Sidharth Srivastava, the deputy Indian president, and David Kotze, the deputy white president. All right, let me get the SNP on. And while I'm doing that, please remember to register on lovinglifetv.com from the homepage to be kept informed. This is the platform we are transitioning to from YouTube, the censorship platform known as YouTube. All right, guys, here we go.
What's wrong? Just make sure you're in there.
Hi.
Hi, Scott.
How are you guys?
Hi, good.
Good and you?
Are you well?
Excellent, thank you. Excellent. I only see two of you. I don't see the guy in the middle.
Let me move a bit forward.
Okay.
Okay.
This is going to be fun because you've got that background stuff happening, and I only now see one of you. I think it's.
Okay, we remove the green screen. It's fine.
I'm going to remove it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you just have the normal background, because I've again lost the guy in the middle.
Yeah, it's me.
All right.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'll just get the other two fellows on. Okay.
No problem, Scott. Right, just go to recording there.
That's better. That's better. Now I see you.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
So,
you know that background stuff is great, but when you watch
But
this
you can't
video
see.
later, you'll see what it looked like here. It wasn't good.
Otherwise, Scott, doing well.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Awesome, man. When are you coming to South Africa?
When the ANC are out of power, I'll get arrested
Well-
at the airport if I dared come now.
With SNP's in power, you can come through, okay? First seat, front seat.
Thank you. Now,
Hi, good evening.
I think Sidharth has joined us.
Yep.
Awesome.
Good evening, gents.
Hi,
Ladies.
Sidharth.
How you
Hi,
doing?
good evening.
And I think John's with us as well. Now, Sidharth and John, I don't have your video at this stage. I just have little icons.
Let me just see.
Okay, let me get that quickly.
Okay. Now, while you guys are doing that, what I'd like to do is to start off by just going around the room, so to speak, starting with SNP's president, Christopher Claassen. Could you please just introduce yourself and your role in the SNP, just so everybody watching gets an idea of what you do?
Good evening or good morning to all our viewers here tonight. My name is Christopher Claassen, and I'm the president of Spectrum National Party and also the founder of this brand new political party with a new vision for South Africa.
Right. Now, let's move on to David Kotze.
Hi there, I'm David Kotze. I am the white vice president of Spectrum National Party. That's me.
Right, okay. And Nozuko.
Good evening. This is Nozuko Makwayiba, a black deputy president, standing in as a deputy mayor candidate as well.
Fantastic.
Cape Town.
Okay, now we still don't have Sidharth or John's video up yet, but look, we've got the video for the other three up, so that's a good starting point. John, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, good evening, Scott. Good evening to all our deputy presidents present, the president, and everybody around the country and in Australia and in other countries as well. I'm the deputy president of Spectrum National Party and largely responsible for policy.
Right. Okay. And finally, Sidharth.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Right. I'm the deputy Indian president, actually from India. Right. Okay. And I'm responsible for, sorry, I'm just quoting my president because he likes to make fun of that. I'm responsible for actually, most importantly, creating leadership, right? Where I see there's a big void in South Africa and actually in the world in itself. So what we do is that we actually train all our candidates, all our mayors, all our deputy mayors, and for the training and development, that's what I'm mostly focused on. And obviously bringing technology into the forefront, right? And most importantly, how to humanize the technology so it's simplified and it connects people instead of actually a disjointed community. And that's what my role is.
Right. Now Sidharth, while we're just talking about technology, does the SNP have a Facebook page or a website where people can look up the Constitution?
Yes, we have an app also. I've also developed an app on iOS and on Google, right, where people can actually look up the Constitution. It's actually on the website too. Website, we obviously still a new party, right? So I haven't really dangled into the website that much, but pretty much I have developed the app myself for SNP. So people can look at the Constitution, they can look at the election manifesto, and they can look up all the videos and everything, which pretty much gets updated every day. So yes, we do.
Okay, so how do people get that app?
Right, so if they go on to Google Store, right, they literally just type in SNP and the app will come up.
And they just download that and then they've got it on their computer?
They download the app and it's for free, yes.
Okay, fantastic. All right, that's great. All right, now let's get into a bit about the SNP. I'm going to put this question to Christopher, seeing that you were the founder of SNP. Can you tell us what inspired you to set up the Spectrum National Party, and a little bit of the background to the history of the SNP.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Scott. About 2 years ago, my little boy was 7 years old. He said to me, "Daddy, when you're going to become the president of this country, you are going to take care of all the poor people in this country." And you know what, Scott, when he shared this information with me, I asked myself, why is this child asking me this question? Why is he asking me, or why is he telling me this? And I was actually amazed, and I really had to, as a pastor, I had to ask God, but why is he telling me this? And, because I was only complaining all my life about the ANC and the DA, useless. And I was really never interested in politics until my son really shared this with me. And then I started sharing this information with my friends and family and said, why can't we start a new party? But then I said to them, well, okay, I have discovered or have noticed the mistakes that political parties has made and that is to only make, when it's if the leader is a black leader, his majority of his executive are blacks. When it's a colored president of a political party, then his majority executives are colored. And so were the whites and the Indians. And I said to the team, listen, when we're going to start a party, let this be a brand new party with new structures, so to make sure that we take care of all cultural groups, all race groups in this country, to make sure that everybody is treated equally, so there can be peace. Because at this moment, it is just a race fight. The one race fights the other race because why there's not equality in that specific in political party. And so let us come up with something new, something modern, because I myself, I'm very creative. I believe in new things, new systems, new designs. And Spectrum need to be a political party who will make sure that everybody are well taken care of in this country, irrespective of your race, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of your religion. And that is what we really want to achieve with Spectrum National Party, because why at this moment is going so well that all races are buying into this party and joining Spectrum National Party because they believe that this is the party who can take South Africa to the next level. And well, I'm very pleased to see what's happening for a political party who's only 1.5 years old, who's already in all 9 provinces and in 125 municipalities. It is telling me, as the leader of Spectrum National Party, that we are on the right path to save this country from where it is going to. And I believe, like you can see here, black, white, Indian, and colored. It's so beautiful, and we're getting so well along with one another. So if we can get along with one another, why can we not govern this country together, equal rights and equal opportunities?
Amen.
So that is what we stand for, and people love that. South Africans love Spectrum National Party, and now we just need to really get our name out there to every house, and then we're going to take this country to the next level.
Fantastic. Well, it's a very powerful message that you've got. I mean, it's a great message that you've got. Now, I think it's John that looks after the policy, isn't it?
That's correct, yes.
Yes.
Now, John, tell us about the policy within the SNP. What are the overriding key policies that you have?
Well, Scott, the overriding key policies, South Africa is facing many challenges. And in our view, the overriding policies are: 1, education, the criminal justice system, the land issue, housing, and the economy. Those are the principal overriding policies that we need to get right. This country really needs to get that right. And we have the answers for that. We've developed a policy framework on each of those, and in all truth, they compare favorably with many other organizations and so forth. But what is needed, what is lacking, and seriously lacking, is the political will to get things done. We are energetic, we are ready, and we are prepared to take this fight forward and improve the lives of people in this country. We lack political will. There's just no political will.
Right. Now, look, I've been advocating for a complete reset of the judicial system in South Africa because it's become a complete circus.
True.
But the other area that really needs to be reset is the policing area. Do you have a policy over the policing side of things?
Yes, absolutely. that falls within the whole criminal justice cluster. And, that involves the courts, that involves prisons, that involves social crime prevention and the police. And what we've developed is a national crime prevention strategy, a strategy that would reduce particularly serious violent crime in this country. Currently, the police are seriously undercapacitated. They are poorly trained. The numbers, in terms of United Nations, we fall far short in terms of United Nations requirements of boots on the ground. So we need to up that. And the truth is, the money is there. South Africa is a developing country. South Africa is not really a poor country. 2019, 2020 budget was in the region of 1.83 trillion rand. Now, where has that money gone? Because we still don't have boots on the ground in seriously affected areas. 2 days ago in Khayelitsha, 11 people mowed down in one night. It's happening all the time. And I wouldn't like to say that we become immune to serious violent crime, but it's happening all over. And we've got answers to that. We need policy certainty, and we need the political will to change it. The understanding that some of us have is that this current government actually benefits from serious crime, from crime in general, because of the continuous payment of taxes. When your house is burglared, you need to put in another alarm. You pay tax on that. You pay VAT on that. You need to repair your broken door, your window, you pay tax on that. You need to get whatever repaired that was damaged to the break-in, you pay tax on that. So our understanding is that this government actually benefits from crime. And this is a situation that needs to be really, really changed around. We have a plan for that in terms of what we've developed, our national crime prevention strategy. The government has got its own national crime prevention strategy, which hasn't worked since 1994. They've amended and adopted and amended, but it's not working. It's just not practical at all. We need experienced policemen to lead the police force. Currently, we have in South Africa civilians leading the police force, and it's just an untenable situation. So we say, we need properly trained boots on the ground. We need experienced policemen who've been there from the word go. Guys with those 30, 40 years who have studied, who know the last criminal corners of our country to lead the police force. That's the only way that it's going to work.
Right.
And obviously that must be accompanied by political will and money. And the money we've got, but a lot of the money finds its way into the back pockets of connected people, and that's the problem, Scott.
Yeah. Well, look, I have to say that when you got the Shladi Mutseneng of the ANC ministry running the police force, in other words, Bekesele, what can you expect? Seriously.
Scott, next to me, Nozuko, she's a former police officer. She's joined us as our deputy president.
Right.
She's got quite a lot of experience, 8 years in the police force. So yeah, we're gonna get that replaced back in Kenya very soon.
Oh, look, he's a complete and utter disgrace. Okay, I tell you, this is why I can't come back to South Africa, because I speak my mind. If I landed at Oliver Tambo, I'd be arrested after I came through customs. Now, something very disturbing was said last night by Dr. Peter Munns, and I just want to run this past you, Christopher, because it's something which it made my hair stand up on end. And Dr. Peter Munns is a very knowledgeable man, and he said that there are certain parts of South Africa where they're considering bringing the United Nations in to run communities and stuff like that. Now, the United Nations are clearly the anchor behind this great reset they're talking about, with a one world government and a one world currency. As soon as you get the United Nations in, your country's gone. What are your thoughts about the UN getting involved in South Africa?
Yeah, we don't see any need for the UN to get involved in, or if the world becomes a one world country system, because South Africa has got enough resources. We have got all the minerals. We have got the skills. It's just poorly managed by our existing ruling party, which is in charge of the ANC. I don't think we need it. I think every country should just do their own thing, because what's happening now with Iraq and Israel and Palestine, it is completely, totally unacceptable. And this is where we don't want to go that route. We feel that we can manage this country independently without making use of one world system. Scott, you know what? Now it's a talk that is going on for some time now regarding the one world system. If they can explain to us how will it benefit South Africa? South Africa is just a unique country going through completely different situations than other first world countries. So we first need to develop this country to become a first world country, so that we can really look at its impact and say, is it really worth it to be controlled by the one world system? I don't think it's really going to work for South Africa at this moment. So I think we must just replace our existing government now and really get the right party in to govern this country. That's why we believe in all races govern this country together. Just imagine how powerful is South Africa going to be with black, brown, Indian, and white. We're going to be a powerful country, have the right leaders. There's so many skilled leaders out there who's at home even, sitting there, can't find a job. And we need to bring them on board and say, come on, you're the experts, because you have developed this country already where it is today, and let us make this country a better country when we all come together and stand together as a really true rainbow nation. Because at this moment, they proclaiming this is a rainbow nation. We are not a rainbow nation until there's going to be equality and transparency.
Well, you can't be a rainbow nation when you've got black economic empowerment and policies like that. Now,
Precisely.
I'm going to put a link in the side chat. Now, that's for people who aren't familiar with lovinglifetv.com. The video I'm going to attach in the link, and there it is about exactly the subject we're talking about here. Who actually owns the world? Because there are two investment companies that actually own just about everything in the world, including the banking system, Coca-Cola, Microsoft, you name it, they own the lot. And they're called BlackRock and they're called Vanguard. Now, Vanguard, we don't even know who the investors are, but it's run by the Rothschilds. And though, if you go into Wikipedia or Google any major company, and I'm talking about like Microsoft or whatever, look at their top shareholders. You'll see the top shareholders in every case are BlackRock and Vanguard. Now, that is what is already happening in the world today. That they basically control the world. Now, the link I just put up there, you can go and watch that in your own time, and you will see what is happening. Now, just so you're aware, if I put that up on YouTube, you'll see it's on lovinglifetv.com. YouTube would take it down because it's censorship city on YouTube. Okay, now I see that Sidharth put his hand up. Sidharth, do you want to talk about the situation with the United Nations in South Africa? Sidharth?
I have.
Sidharth, over to you.
Yes. Well, my simple answer to that is they're talking about bringing United Nations to South Africa. How about actually solving the COVID crisis? Give me two countries that have actually worked together in the last year and a half to actually bring about a change in the COVID-19 situation. The only time I see countries now actually going towards and helping India is because India is the biggest market for them, right? Okay, that is a first and the only time I've seen America. I've seen the likes of Great Britain. I've seen the likes of other countries actually going to help any country during the time of COVID-19. So if we can't even solve a global pandemic, we call it a global pandemic, but please, if you can tell me, how do we actually act as globally together to fight this pandemic? And I'll be very surprised if I can have 5 countries that actually work together to solve the problem. So before they talk about bringing United Nations to South Africa, let's solve the problem that is right now in front of our hands. It is staring down at my face right now because my mom and dad live in India. Right? And it's a very sensitive subject for me because the thing is that I've lost 8 people in the last 3 months.
Wow.
My first cousins, Yeah. I've lost eight family members in India, and I don't come from a underprivileged sort of background. My dad is a doctor, right? Okay, most of my family is, I would say, middle class, right? If you have to classify that. So if that is the situation which is facing my family, now neither I can go to India, right? For example, right? And my daughter, she's diabetic 1, 2 as well. She's got a precondition of diabetes 1. Okay, so my question is that if something happens to my daughter, what is available for her? She's 9 years old. Nobody can answer me that question. Not one person in this world can answer me the question is that what happens if something happens to my daughter and she gets COVID-19? What is the treatment for a diabetic 1 child? So if United Nations, and they're going to talk about coming into a different country, first of all, let's talk about, have we started and have we did this fight against COVID-19 together? And the answer to that is absolutely not. So if we can't even fight a global pandemic together, please, let's focus on first solving the problems before we actually create more problems. That's my answer to that.
Yeah, well, the one world government would be basically run by the ultra wealthy. That's the outcome of that. Yeah. Now, just talking about this issue with the lockdown and the vaccine and stuff like that, once again, I'm going to put a link in the side chat. And anyone who hasn't seen this video, you have to watch this video. If you've got family or friends who are looking at having the vaccine, please, guys, you've got to watch this video first because it'll make your hair stand on end. Now, I'm going to go around the rest of the room with this question about the United Nations coming into South Africa. Nozuko, I'm going to go to you next. What are your thoughts on this?
Thank you for the opportunity. Firstly, you know, as South Africa, we are failing, or rather we are failed by our ruling government currently. So if we allow any country to come and say it's going to have a word against us, or rather it's going to take control of us as the country, it's so obvious that we as the country will have to obey, or rather will have to sit under their tree in each and everything, because we have failed as the country to rule our country, or rather to have control on our system as the country. So it is so obvious that if we talk about this United Nations, it's so obvious that we'll be kids under the parents' roof.
Yeah. Will be controlled. And you know that the United Nations building in New York is built on land owned by the Rockefellers. And in fact, the Rockefellers built the United Nations building. And that's a fact. So you can see who's behind the whole thing. Now, David, going to you, what are your thoughts on the UN coming into South Africa?
I hope they're bringing a lot of money because we need a lot. Because it's started already. Really, joke actually. No, look, I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on South Africa. I'm going to probably go and say South Africa first, and that is what I focused on. I couldn't really care about what the rest of the world wants to do and how they want to come into South Africa. If we are the ruling party, it's not happening, because we will just say, sorry, we don't need you. We will sort ourselves out because we got plans in place that will make us financially free and make sure that everybody's got a roof over their head. The problem we got is we are soft target at this stage because we got so much debt that the ANC maybe will be desperate and say, please just help us. We will obey. We will do whatever we can do just to make sure, and then here's the catch, to make sure that the ANC and all their people will make money out of it also, because they'll be looked after, because they're giving them the opportunity to come to our country and loot it further. So I'm sorry, from my side, I don't know. It's not going to happen. Not while I'm around. I will fight it till the bitter end. Sorry, I'm a fighter.
Now, John, you're the only one I haven't asked this question yet. What are your thoughts on the UN?
Well, that's a very interesting angle. United Nations coming into South Africa. My first question would be, why? There's absolutely no need for the United Nations to come to South Africa. The United Nations was created in 1945 and after the Second World War by 51 countries. And their chief aim in creating this organization, these 51 countries, was to maintain international peace and security, developing friendly relations among nations, and promoting social progress and better living standards for people. So them coming to South Africa, really, I fail to understand why they would be invited here in the first place. I mean, there are global conflicts as we speak: Iran, Iraq, Middle East, Israel, Palestine. I think they should direct their resources to the Israeli-Palestinian issue, which has been going on for decades, and there's no end in sight. And I mean, thus far, we haven't heard much from the United Nations about that conflict in the Middle East. And I'm speaking as a neutral person here, from what I see and from what I read and so forth. I think that is where they can expend their money and the authority and influence in resolving that conflict. It really needs resolution at the highest level. You go to Iraq, you go to Afghanistan, you go to other countries in the East, Saudi Arabia, and their neighbors are at war for 5, 6, 7 years. And I think that's where their energies should be directed. South African issues we can resolve. We just need a new government, a government with the political will to drive issues, drive development, drive agriculture, and build this country for the benefit of all. We say South Africans first. We are firm in our view, South Africans first. We just need a proper government in place, a government that cares for its people. United Nations, redirect your energies elsewhere. We appreciate your presence, but redirect your energies elsewhere.
Right. Now, just responding to Nat in the side chat. Nat, look, it's probably best if Marietta van Rooyen contacts Rudy. That's admin@lovinglifetv.com. I'm not sure why she can't get onto the live stream or comment, but Rudy would be able to help her. That's probably the best way to sort that out. Okay. Now, just while I'm talking about that, please remember to register on lovinglifetv.com. I see we've got 32 guests watching on lovinglifetv.com. That's outside the number of people watching directly through our YouTube channel. Please, guests, please register on lovinglifetv.com. We've got some very, very exciting things happening here, and we will be the biggest online news source on the internet in months to come. That's our goal. So we're going to have a huge platform here on lovinglifetv.com, and most importantly, YouTube cannot censor us, and that's why we're on lovinglifetv.com.
Okay. Go for that.
Now, Christopher, we just talked there about South Africa and why SNP has got a vision for South Africa. Can you tell us about the current footprint that SNP has in South Africa?
Yes, Scott, we currently in all 9 provinces, like I said earlier on, in 125 municipalities. Out of the 125 municipalities, we actually has about 80 of that municipalities we are 100% active, and the other total is just members. So we are still looking for mayor candidates to govern or to be in charge or manage that municipality for us there. We are growing really on a daily basis, people signing up every day throughout South Africa, and it's going very, very well. Unfortunately, we struggle to get on TV. It seems to me that there's a gatekeeper there, not to get us to that TV or television exposure. Because why? You know what, Scott? It is so amazing to see that how many other political parties coming over to Spectrum. It is so amazing because but they love it. When they heard Spectrum's vision for South Africa. I just spoke today at a meeting in one of the malls in Cape Town, and I approached just one of the white customers who were sitting in the restaurant, And I shared the vision of Spectrum with him. And he said, oh my word, is there really a party out there who believes in transparency, equality, equal benefiting? I said, yes, it's called Spectrum National Party. And he said, I'm going to go home tonight and I'm going to have a look on your Facebook page, Spectrum National Party's Facebook page. He said, wow, that is, where have you guys been? You're supposed to be a long time ago. So, well, there's a time and a season for everything. So it's going very well, Scott. I can honestly say it's going very, very, very well with Spectrum. We're just now fighting to get ourselves on TV so we can have more exposure to the rest of our country.
Yeah, look, I've got to support what you're saying. I think the mainstream media in South Africa is a complete and utter disgrace. You know, Anchor and News 24 and SATV. They're basically all run by the same crowd. This is what that video, who actually owns you, is all about. It's a very scary insight into all these different companies. You think, oh, there must be different owners, but they're not. They're all owned by the same people. And just on that, totally off topic, David, I've got to say that with your T-shirt and what looks like a Formula One chair that you're sitting in, it looks like you're a racing driver there.
That's very comfortable seats. They call it a gaming seat, but I don't play games.
I bet it is. Now, Christopher, how are you preparing for the upcoming municipal elections in South Africa?
Scott, what we're going to do with this 125 municipalities, you know what, Spectrum is funded, we're funding ourselves. Unfortunately, we don't get government funding because we don't have a seat in our provincial or national government. So which means that we are sitting now with a situation where we have to fund ourselves. All of us come together, we're raising funds, we contribute every month, make a monthly contribution for each municipality. Each municipality is currently now responsible to raise their own funds. And you know, I feel sometimes so sad. So I wish I could really, Spectrum as a party could really help the rest of the municipalities. But I said to the team, please do everything in your power, raise funds, go speak to businesses, ask them to fund us, please. So it is a tough call for us, but I told the team, don't worry, that the help will come. Just be committed, be faithful, and the rest will follow. But after this election, Scott, when we win municipalities or even get seats in a municipality, we have a new plan how we're going to really utilize that money and split it up amongst the rest of the municipalities for our 2024 election. So we got quite a lot of hard work to do for our 2024 elections because there we definitely need money. We need about 600,000 rand just to contest in the national elections. It will be 200,000 to contest nationally, and it will be 45,000 per province. So we already have now other plans how we're going to generate money from now onwards towards the 21 elections and also from 21 to 2024 national elections. So yeah, we're struggling, but we are not going to give up as long as people keep on voting for us. And when they vote for us and we win municipalities, we're going to develop every municipality into a first-class municipality in South Africa. We really, some municipalities are doing very, very well. Even in Cape Town, you know what, if one ward signs up in 2 months' time, 4,000 members in one ward, in Cape Town, one ward, it's really a good sign that people are hungry for change.
Yeah. Right. Now, just again, addressing people watching, we got a big crowd watching directly from lovinglifetv.com. And for those guests who want to register, it's very, very simple. You just simply go to the top of the page you're on right now, and click on the home page link, and there's an option to register to join the subscribers on lovinglifetv.com. Okay, now I've got a question here for Nozuko. The ANC are not welcome in the townships anymore because people have just had enough of them. I've heard that the ANC have been chased out of certain townships because they say, hey, you guys are just screwing up the country, and I think they're getting it. Now, isn't that a wonderful opportunity for SNP to actually go and get the message out there to people that there's an alternative to this corrupt gangster state?
Oh, wow, thank you. I love this kind of question. You know, if you go to our townships, One, they're fighting with each other. So obviously they don't need to be in our community, Secondly, because they're not delivering the services to our people. So this is the reason why we have decided to say enough is enough. And our people have got to a point where they say enough is enough. And this is where our SNP fits in. Because now, as Spectrum National Party, as we say, we want black, white, colored Indian to rule our country. It's because there's a lot of wrongdoings that are happening within our local government, national. You talk of each and every sphere of government. There's a lot of wrong things that are happening. So it is a great opportunity for us to work, to do whatever we can to win this country. Because we're not just looking at provincial level. We're looking at this country as a whole, because we're gonna make it. I can assure you with that.
Right, fantastic. Now, I've got a question for John regarding this. Now, what Nozuko was just talking about is interesting, because if you look at the Singapore model, Singapore just a generation ago was a poor country, and you look at it today and it's one of the world leaders financially, and they had a very very simple solution to turn back the time and get themselves sorted out, and that was a thing called meritocracy, where, in other words, people who are the best person for the job, not just some mate who's politically well connected, gets that job and actually looks after that position. That's what's driven Singapore. Now, John, in your policy, are you looking at some form of meritocracy in SNP?
Absolutely. That is actually one of our foundations in terms of the economy. Our private sector is, I would say, fairly well run. Our main problem lies in government administration in this country. All three tiers of government: local, provincial, and national. And that is where the problem lies, largely. And the problems there are related to management. In two words, it's just poor management. I could add a third: incompetence. What we say is you need appropriately and properly qualified people in the right positions. So you need a proper fit. You cannot have an engineer looking after the health department of this country. You cannot have a teacher looking after the police. A teacher looks after education. A policeman looks after police. And this is the problem in this country. But I understand why we are where we are. It's all to do with looking after each other, getting everybody on board. It's rewards for buddies and so forth, and then the cadres and so forth. That's what it's about. And unfortunately, people who don't know how to make money don't know how to spend it. It slips through their hands, and this is the problem we have in this country. A 1.8384 trillion budget. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. There is enough to go around if we have a proper government in place that practices stringent fiscal control. Fiscal control, I simply mean people that know how to spend the money properly. And this we don't have. We've got poor management at every sphere of government, from the simple freshwater pumping station, maintenance plans. That's why people don't have water up in the Free State, up in Limpopo, up in KZN, our rural areas for the last 27 years. Rural people in this country, and I come from a rural area, rural people in this country are still sharing water with donkeys and cows and mules. Now, I mean, that's pretty sad. I got no word to describe that. And yet, every year there are appropriations. Money is appropriated for municipalities on top of their budgets. And the argument about we need more money, municipalities in South Africa. Currently, we've got 18 to 20 dysfunctional, moribund municipalities in this country.
Is that all?
And the answer is simple: we need more money. Now, I've got a simple argument to that. The more money you give them, the more corruption we're going to see.
Yeah.
So it's not going to solve the problem until we have proper management in place. Management is top priority. We need appropriately and properly qualified people in the right positions to drive things in this country. And that is what we are lacking in this country.
Well, I think meritocracy is the key. I really do.
Yes,
because it works.
Absolutely.
You just have to look at Singapore.
It does work.
Now,
look at Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Now, I just have one little correction to make with what you said, John, and that is it doesn't slip through their fingers. The money slips into their pockets. That's where it goes.
It goes into their back pockets. My apologies, Scott.
Now, getting back to you, Nozuko. Now, I understand that some of the Spectrum National Party members have been threatened by the ANC. Is that correct?
That is 100% true. Because we've got the ANC mafias, the ones who are working behind the scenes. But we are looking at that as Spectrum National Party because we understand, and they understand, that everyone rather is allowed to have a party of his or her choice. Just that they have decided to work behind the scenes to threaten some of our members. And we are very much aware of that. And we know the steps to take, and we are ready to take that on because we do not have any citizen of this country that mustn't go for his or her party of his choice to work for that party. And currently, because they have failed us, even though they still trying to threaten our members. So we are very much aware of that.
Right. And I guess just before the municipal elections, they'll come out with a bunch of T-shirts and blankets and food parcels and crap like that to try and buy votes. Yeah. Now, okay. Christopher, why won't a one-race governing party work in South Africa?
Yeah. Scott, number one, it has been tried with the apartheid regime. You know what? Me and Nozuko, we were driving now from the area where she stays.
Yeah.
It's now in a black township. She's moving now to the white area where David stays. For her, it is like going from hell to heaven. That is how it looks for her. You understand? And she said, couldn't this area where David stays be in an area where she stays? So what has happened previously with the apartheid regime is they were taking well care of the whites, and if they could have taken well care of the other race, then the entire South Africa would have looked like the white areas here in South Africa. So what's happening with the one race system is the following. There will always be unfairness between the race groups. We as a party feel it's unfair that only one race benefit while the rest of the race groups in South Africa, so like say Afrikaans, and the agterspeen, okay? Because it's not fair. Because as soon as a white ruling party is in power, they will always take care of their race group, which is so an unfair system. So I always tell all people who want to start a political party, if you are a white person and you want to start a political party, it's not going to work. Because there will always be internal of race fights all the time until there is equality. It's the only way we're going to stop it. So whichever political party leader is attempting to start a political party, It's not going to work. We need to stand together and say, let us do it all together, all race rule together, all race benefit equally. That is the only way it can work, Scott, because I don't see any other way how it should work. We've seen it in our party regime, we've seen it on the ANC government, and here's still political party leaders want to start a political party where if it's a colored guy, then if his entire executive are coloreds. It cannot work. It will never work. It's been tested. It's been, it is proven it's not working. So why should we repeat the previous mistakes that our party regime made and the ANC government is making as well? The same is happening with the DA. DA is governed and controlled by the white monopoly. So the question is, how can we still, there's Cape Colored Congress, there's a colored party, there is a, the list is just going on. It cannot work in South Africa. So when are we going to wake up and say we're fighting the ANC to get rid of them? But here everybody's starting their own political parties where only one race rule. So it needs to stop. It needs to stop immediately. And when are we once we're gonna say that all race rule benefit equally, all race govern a country, then we can easily go into coalitions with one another. Like, so for example, there's some colored parties here in South Africa. Coloreds are only 10% of the country's population. Blacks are 80% of this kind of population, and whites are also 10%. So how on earth can a white leader start a political party? Who is going to vote for that white party leader as the president? Blacks are not going to vote for them because of the race fights. So why are you wasting, or why are they wasting other voters' time and money with the hope that a white party leader is going to win this country? It's never going to happen. The minority will never win in this country. So Spectrum is the only political party in South Africa who stands for equal race governance, equality, and let's move away from this BE system, because the BE system does not even work for blacks even. It only benefits the black friends and families who is on the panels where they issue tenders. Yeah, it's not going to work, Scott. So for Spectrum, this field is never, ever going to work. For how many years we tried now? For decades we have tried to balance the race groups. It's not going to. Why should whites go and overseas to go and study there? Why they send the children to overseas to stay there? Because there's no future for them in our country. It should never be like this. South Africa is such a beautiful country. Why do our government system killing, destroying, embarrassing really the rest of the other race groups? So it needs to come to an end, and Spectrum has the plan to do it. Now we are dependent on people to vote for us. It's no use we complain. It's no use. We need to know the only way to get to destroy a ruling party is not to vote for them. And a lot of people, Scott, don't understand that political parties have the power to change a country or municipality, and people don't know it. Some people think a municipality is managed by a municipality. Yes, to a certain extent, it's true, but a municipality is governed by a political party. So I want all the viewers to understand this. A political party governs, controls a municipality. For example, Rekoneni municipality, in case anywhere Winston could see easy, he's standing for us is the mayor there. Why should we as a political party go and hire trucks and load the big containers, 5,000-liter containers on a truck, fill it with water, take it to the people in the streets, because there's no water for the past few months now in the Rekoneni municipality. Apparently the pumps are broken.
That's ridiculous.
My question to you is, Scott, why is there not an extra dam built? Why isn't there extra pumps fitted? Why should we wait until something breaks before we replace it? It takes so long. There should be a backup for everything. There should be a backup dam in every municipality to make sure there's no day zero. There should be an extra backup generator in case of an extra pump. In case the one breaks, there's a backup one. And this is the problem we're facing in our country. There is no backups for nothing. And the problem, once again, one race want to rule everything. And that is a problem. We need to come together and do it together. It's the only success that we can achieve if we stand together and work together for a brighter future.
Yeah.
Well, I just have to correct you there, President. It's one race wants to steal everything.
I was about to say exactly the same thing there, Sidharth.
I just have to tell you that. They just want to steal, right? That's all I can add to that. It's not even ruling, it's just stealing. That's it.
And I've got to say, it's good to see you. We've actually got you live on now, whereas before we had an icon.
Yeah, no, it's good
John's
to
also
see you
tried
all.
maybe- John's also tried to get him on as well. John, could you just try as well to connect your video at the bottom of the screen?
Okay, now,
Yes,
now
So you
just while John's doing that, I've got a question for the racing driver, David. What are your views on the subject we've just been talking about with Christopher?
Well, look,
And I say that seeing that apparently you live in heaven.
sure, okay.
You see, he's white. That's why.
Yeah, I definitely don't live in heaven. I can say that. Just want to rectify that thing. Look, when it comes to let's go back. I was born in '76. Grew up as a teenager in the '80s and the '90s. So I was there looking at this confusing world because I had I had a father that was obviously a racist because that's how we grew up. And then we had, okay, but there's black people, oh, they can't come swim here. So only white people can come to this beach. It was very strange to me when I see all these boards, and I thought to myself, it's very, because I don't know anything. So as I grew up, I started hearing a lot of influences. Most of them will be bad, and tell you bad things about Mandela and all these things. I will never forget, I was in standard 5, and my headmaster in school, he was an old Afrikaans white guy. And he was going on about Mandela. And I thought to myself, who the hell is Mandela? But I didn't know who he was because obviously I was 12 years old.
Yeah, you went into politics.
Yeah, I thought to myself, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
And obviously as I went into high school, as 94 started coming closer, then I started realizing, okay, well, now I understand what it's all about. So now, I'm going to jump now. So it was confusing. Then it became clear, and then everybody was excited about the new way we're going to go. Apartheid's gone. I do agree that apartheid was a very wrong regime.
Yeah,
there was a lot of things in there, and there was a lot of bad things in there. That's one thing we have to acknowledge, because when I speak to my guys that works for me for many years, and they're black people, and I ask them, so tell me quickly, how was the apartheid years? And then I go, no, it was very good. I said, how can you say that? He says, you know what? I am not safe in my own home at the moment. But in the apartheid years, I had no problem with that. We knew exactly where we must be, and we wouldn't have any problems. Now, obviously, people say, oh, but that's a racist way of looking at it. I said, no, wait a minute. It's coming from the black person. I'm not saying it. They are saying it, and not one person is saying it. And so when I got that message, I thought to myself, wow, okay, now I understand where they're going from. And now, because of me not being a racist, understanding what the problem is in South Africa, going into Westbank, going to Kalicha, going to all these places I've been in, seeing how these people are living, yes, I am living in heaven, I must say, because this is my problem. Now, we're in the Western Cape. Now, here we are ruled by the DA. We're not going to talk about DA today, because then we're going to talk a long time also. Because now the DA, it's this great party we hear all the time. And I go, yes, you know what? The white people here in my area, we don't have service problems. Service delivery is fine. We now and then have a hiccup with water coming late or something like that. When I build new houses, I have to connect water and electricity. You get that little bit of a pain. But otherwise, when it's in, it works perfectly. You pay your bill and off you go. Even if we are paying and fitting the bill for everybody else, we have to pay that bill. But we don't have any problem. Then I walk into Westbank and I go, what's going on here? There's no bins. They're all stolen. All the rubbish are lying on the streets. The drains are blocked. And I speak to them. I said to them, they said to me, the truck comes around once a week, like it comes through our areas also once a week. But our rubbish is not lying in the street. Their rubbish is lying in the street. And I go, why? He said, well, look, we don't have woolly bins. It's been stolen. We put our bags down. The animals come, and the dogs breaks open the packages, and then it's all chaos. And a lot of these people living in these areas not being educated not to litter. So they don't care, because they're also used to growing up and all this litter around them. It's for them normal. But I walk in there, I go, but this was not normal. This is not the way people must live. And this must not be normality for them also. So we need to start fighting and say, wait a minute, this is now nonsense. Why must black people and colored people and some white people live in this bad situation, conditions? And here we sit in heaven, if they call us, and they hate us. We say, oh, white monopoly. That's why you guys have got all the houses. You got all the money. And I go, you know what? Yes, maybe in the past we had opportunities and our parents had opportunities and we had opportunities. But I must say the last 27 years, the only opportunity was for the black people. And they've got, I want to still see, I only see the opportunities for the people that's in the high places. I only see the ANCs. I only see the guys that's really got power, that's got all the opportunities and all the money and they're stealing everything they can. But the black person that they are standing for are still in poverty. They are still living in dirt.
Yeah.
And then I turn around and go, what have you been doing the past 27 years? And then the human lemma comes around and say, oh, but you know, this white monopoly is because of this and because of that. And I go to myself and think to myself, wait a minute, where were you the past 27 years? Please talk some sense. Don't talk nonsense. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the lemma, then we can talk all night.
No, I think one of the most disgraceful things the ANC did was there were so many, I think it's they're called the RDP homes, you know, they're fairly basic, but they're the homes that they build for people in the townships. And so much of that money has been stolen. So those homes have not been built. Sure. It's just quite extraordinary. And I see Nozuko shaking her head there. Is that just in agreement with what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Every time with my president, when we drive from my place to wherever we're going, we pass through a project that has been happening for the past 4 years. Houses that they've been halfway built. We ask ourselves, what is it that is happening with ANC? Because it's ANC ward in that area. But obviously, there's no one to ask, because if you ask the ward councillor, you will tell you something else. You have to go and ask so and so. But all I'm saying is the stealing of our money is just the main problem that we have from our communities to the national level.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think the only industry that's making $1 during the lockdown are the fancy cars, you know, dealerships with Rolls Royces and Porsches and Maseratis, with all the tenderpreneurs walking in the door with cash. You know, it's
and you're talking about some money laundering as well going on.
Go ahead, Sidharth, tell us.
No. We're talking about. I mean, the car dealerships. There's a special act against them. I can assure you that money laundering is such a big issue in South Africa that I've actually been exposed to it myself in the last 1 year. And I'm not going to name the businesses, but I've actually seen it happening in front of my own eyes. And you're talking about car dealerships. You're talking about, it's a whole syndicate, right? Where if you follow the trail of the money, you will understand where the money is going to. So you'll find even during the lockdown, those businesses did fine. And I'm thinking to myself, how in the world those businesses did actually fine during lockdown?
Yeah.
But clearly it's a vehicle for money laundering as well, which is actually a very big thing in South Africa at the moment.
Right. No, I get it. Now, guys, and this is again as a question for Christopher. What is SNP's plan when you win a municipality? You know, the 5-year term. Take us through that.
All right, good. Okay, I'm going to reveal it now to everybody. We try to keep this information very confidential because you get some hijackers, some other political parties who are stealing ideas from Spectrum, because Spectrum is really thinking out of the box to change people's lives. That's what we're going to do. Right. So Scott, number one, when we take over a municipality, the first thing we're going to do is identify areas where there is really a lack. For example, squatter camps. What we're going to do is, for example, with the housing, this is the first thing we're going to do now. We don't believe that people should rent. We believe in people should own. their own property. Because municipalities don't have money, right? So we don't have money, but municipalities can make land available for the people who is homeless.
Absolutely.
Cape Town is a very good example. If DA cares so much, why is people still sleeping on the streets? It is my question. People sleeping under the bridges. Why? Don't they care for these poor people? Everybody is not so fortunate to go and study, to earn good salaries, to change their lifestyles. So they just don't care, which means they are a don't care party, the same like the ANC. So what we're going to do, we're going to make land available. We're going to split the certain groups, because there are some people, for example, like a petrol attendant, Scott, he earns about 5,000 a month. That poor man, or the cleaner, or the security guard, they are not in a position to buy a house. They don't have enough money. They don't qualify to buy a house. What are we going to do with them? We're going to identify a piece of land, because, okay, there's 1,000 people in the municipality. I'm talking about smaller municipalities. We're going to say, okay, 1,000 people, we're going to move you to one group. And what we want you to do is we're going to make land available for you. So all what the 1,000 people is going to do, because you are a petrol attendant, you already pay maybe 3,000 for rental, we're going to ask you to contribute 500 rand per month. So we're going to have now 1,000 people contribute 500 per month is 500,000 rand. Remember now, we're going to get rid of the homeless people situation now, and we're going to make sure they have their own piece of their own house within a period of at least within 1 year's time. So 500,000, so the city will make, of the municipality make land available. The 500,000 come in, we're going to level the land from the first month, say we start January month, 500,000, we're going to level the land, get the machinery, everything in. Then the next month, end of February, everybody contribute again a 500 rand. Okay, remember now, the municipalities don't have money. Government do have money. They got 35 billion in available for local housing in South Africa out of the 4,468 wards. They could have even say, okay, we're going to give to every ward 7,800 rand if they really work with 35 billion rand. Okay, so they don't do it, right? So we're going to forget about government now. We're going to only focus on a municipality now. So the second month, we have another 500,000 rand. We're going to do the civil engineering, the pipes and all that. We're going to do that. The third month, we're going to make sure we put a fence around it, around the premises, but we are not going to have 1,000 houses in one complex. We're going to split it up in 250 houses in one complex. Every complex will have its own gate, its pedestrian gate, and a remote control gate. Then the next month, we put like the electric wires right around it. So we're going to secure the premises now, right? By that time, January month already, everybody who's homeless at least will have a contract signed by the municipality and the new house owner to say that this will be your house. We will build your house for you basically with your own money. We will make resources available to assist wherever we can. At least the person feels safe, he feels free, he feels cared, because from a zinc house into his own house now. So we continue. March month, April month, then we start with the roads. Make money available. Maybe we do it for 2 months, we do it for 2 months. By end of the year, Scott, at least we will have enough, everybody will move into a house, reasonable size, maybe about, say, 600 square meters plot. Maybe the house can be maybe 60 square meters with an option to extend your house in the future. At least by the end of the year, at least they have now at least their own house. So we do the same thing right through South Africa, not only in one municipality, also in other municipalities. And then on the other side, those who cannot afford now to pay that 500 rand and so on, we're going to make other plans available. This is where the municipality can come in. They can make the land available. We can even make the plots available for them, where they can basically put, or the government or the municipality can put structures on for them as well, maybe new tech houses along in the meantime. And when we win a national, they will take the 35 billion and we will divide it into that areas where people cannot even afford to build their own houses. So we're going to go like more like a cooperative option. Okay, the same is going to happen also with job creation. The world is going into cooperatives now. We're supporting the banks, FNB and APSA and all this bank we support. We put money in there, we get nothing out. My question is, I'm also appointed to be the CEO of a new bank, but I do stand down up due to myself being on politics now. What's going to happen with the new cooperative bank, also called the CFI, is that I will be now a client of the bank, and I will also become a shareholder of the bank, which means that all the clients in the bank will now become automatically shareholders when they will get dividends paid to them. I'm going to make my loan at my own bank. I want to buy a car, I'm going to take a loan from my own bank, and so houses, whatever I want to buy, I make a loan at my own bank. So the interest that we get on that loan will go back to the bank, and dividends will be paid out. So which means that There's not the person who is helping, the teller, everybody who's working in the bank, the security guard, the cleaners, all of them will become shareholders now. And Scott, regarding the cooperatives way now, a lot of people are not familiar with the cooperative concept. I had a conversation with Spain, a place called Mondragon in Spain. It's also a cooperative. It's a new city that's been built in Spain, where all the factories belongs to the cooperative. So which means I work in my shop, and I also am a shareholder of the shop as well, of every factory in that town as well. Let's go quickly, for example, to manufacture a bottle of cool drink, or to get the final project to the store. Remember how many co-ops we're going to form now. Look at quickly, just to get a cool drink on the shop shelf is the following. Number one, before we put the cool drink in a bottle, we need to first of all need to have the plastic. So a company needs to supply the factory with the plastic, which means the company is a cooperative. That cooperative sell their plastic to a factory who's going to manufacture the cool drink bottle. So it's co-op number 2. Then from there, we need to put a label around the bottle. So it's another company who's going to do the printing for us, will be co-op number 3. Then on the printing, on the label, we need to print. So which means we can have another cooperative who supplies us with the ink. So it's now 4 cooperatives now. And thereafter, somebody is going to make the what do you call the lid on top of the bottle. So this will be another co-op. So everybody will really, we form now how many 5 co-ops only to get a bottle of cool drink on the shelf. And that cool drink needs to be transported to a warehouse. Then we need a truck of a transport cooperative as well. There's going to be so much cooperatives involved, and we don't see any reason, Scott, why we should be unemployed. So this is what we're going to do on a municipality level. There is no reason why people should suffer. There's no reason why people should be unemployed. There's no reason why people should be homeless. It's just a management problem. And Spectrum say it's not about Spectrum anymore. It's about the people. That's why I say South Africans first and not Spectrum first, because we are here to serve the people. So we have so many other ideas, Scott. We're going to even, like in every ward is, I can talk about a metropolitan. Every ward gets 800 to $1 million per month from the municipality. 800,000. And it is only to build speed bumps, parks development, and so on. So this is what the money is for. So now, why can't every ward not make use of a civic center, fit cameras right around the ward, monitored by the neighborhood watch people? The neighborhood watch people don't even have firefighting, health and safety, and first aid training, because they normally the first people responding to emergencies. The police come afterwards. In Cape Town, it is so bad, ambulances can't even drive themselves to the house where there's emergency. They need to be escorted by the police or by a law enforcement. Now I'm asking yourself, oh my word, where are we going to? Even fire departments trucks need to be escorted, because the gangs, they rob the firemen, they rob the ambulance people, they take everything out of the ambulances. Where are we going to? So there is no support. Now my question is, who controls it? There is absolutely no control. So the neighborhood watch should be properly trained. There should be cameras right around the ward, monitored by the neighborhood watch people, with cameras inside there, with a response vehicle. Scott, we got so many plans for every municipality to make sure there is no more suffering. Let's quickly go to Upcountry. Upcountry's got a lot of farms available there. We will need to speak to the farmers there and say, well, can we hire land from you? We're going to go into greenhousing. Like, for example, one greenhouse will be probably owned by maybe 5 houses, 5 families. So what we're going to do, January month we plant, okay, the tomato plants. February month we plant. In March month we plant. End of March, it's harvest time. Then we take out January month's harvest. So their tomatoes will be sold to the market. So which means 5 families can earn now. Okay, so we're going to have another hectare, maybe lettuce. And the other hectare will be strawberries. So it is an ongoing harvesting and planting process, which means that families who have been unemployed will now earn every month an income. Their lifestyle change, their conditions change. They don't live in zinc houses anymore, in Wendy houses anymore. That is a disgrace. It is an embarrassment to the human beings. So that is where our government and our municipalities keep our people. They keep us poor so that we can be dependent on them. And every year, when it's election time, then they come again, once again, with the T-shirts, free T-shirts and food. And our people, they are so blind that they don't see the strategy that the DA and the age is using to keep them waiting for them all the time. So it is a problem, Scott. We need to really think modern ways now, because we're at this moment, the current system is not working.
Yeah. Now, look, I just admire your passion, Christopher. I really do. And, you know, what you're saying about banking is spot on. You know, a lot of people don't understand that it's actually quite easy today to set up your own bank. So a large town could have its own bank, which is actually run with the shareholders perhaps being people within the community who actually have funded or been part of that development. The other thing I would just mention is that Michael Tellinger up at Mpumalanga, he's already got a project which the synergy about what you're talking about and what he's doing in a couple of small towns there is quite extraordinary, because exactly what you described is what they're doing. That they're actually taking the control away from the ANC and they're actually giving it back to the community, who are then basically treating their community as an independent entity outside the corrupt ANC political system. So look, there are a lot of exciting things happening. And of course, we have that example of Irania, which has got its own currency called the Euro. You know, and so you've really got an example of a community that have their own money as such. So this isn't pie in the sky stuff you're talking about. It's very, very doable. Which brings me to John. John, you're the policy man. What sort of policies have you got in place to actually get this happening? John? John, your mic's off.
It's a dad's kids making some noise there.
No, that's
yes.
That's, you know.
Yes, I just made them talk.
My apologies.
John, over to you.
My humble apologies.
That's okay.
How do we get this going? We've got a very simple belief in S&P, and this is a worldwide belief. You know, many prosperous countries throughout the world believe in free market economies with some government control. You cannot have the private sector doing its own thing, you know, like a loose cannon, and without a measure of control. So we say, you know, when we get into government, we will formulate policies, legislation, and so forth, not to interfere, but to regulate. To regulate as little interference as much as possible. Because as soon as you have a government interfering in the economy, then you find yourself in the current state that we are in. Sorry?
I said it goes pear-shaped when you've got a government interfering.
Exactly. As soon as you have a government interfering too much in the economy, then you find ourselves in the situation we are in. So what we are saying is a free market economy with very limited government intervention, mainly on a regulatory sphere. Then we could start get things going in the right direction as far as the economy is concerned. One of the biggest problems in this country, as far as the economy is concerned, that it's also very much skewed. Now, over the last 27 years, and this has been our hope over the last 27 years, that this skewed economy, if you like, some people call it a dualistic economy, should have moved from its skewness, and that field should have been leveled. But what we find is it's just a few very well-connected people who own probably 27, 28 companies. They got shares all over in a multitude of companies throughout the country. They've become extremely wealthy in these 27 years. So what we're saying is we need to flatten that curve, if you like. So we need a much better spread of that. And I think this is where legislation will come in. The day we come into power, we'll ensure that there's a spread of economic resources across the country. Another issue is the doing business in South Africa currently is a bit expensive. Entry into business, it's costly. People don't have money, so we need to facilitate that entry of new entrepreneurs into the economy. which hasn't happened over the past 27 years. Only certain people are getting those opportunities. We've got intelligent people in this country, highly qualified people, graduates with PhDs sitting at home. And I mean, you just take the recent example as far as health is concerned. South Africa now, under this government, imports Cuban engineers.
You know, I was just thinking about that, John, because, you know, one of the biggest problems you have in South Africa right now is the brain drain. And I can tell you that there are a lot of expat South Africans living in Australia, Canada, the USA, Europe, who would love to come back to South Africa and bring that brain power back into South Africa. But they don't have a future in South Africa under this ANC government. So if you had a government that came in with fresh ideas like you guys have got, you'd have a huge influx of people who are very highly qualified to actually look after the sort of things you're talking about.
Absolutely, Scott. You know, we say the imperatives are there's got to be a conducive economic and political environment, that is also relatively free from violent crime. Investors put their money where they feel it's safe to do so. Then we say that there must be political stability and there has to be political certainty. And these are the things that we guarantee as S&P: political stability and policy certainty. We don't have that. Every day, just today, I had to divert on my way home because certain roads were shut off or closed down because of protests. And this is happening. We've had more protests in the last 27 years than we've had in 48 years of apartheid. Can you believe that? It's actually a shame. And here we are sitting with a so-called democratic government for the people that in essence actually doesn't care for its people. So we're saying this whole system, but that can only be achieved when we get the political mandate from those communities out there. And trust me, we're going to bring them on board. We're transparent. We want them on board. We want to hear their views. We want to include them. We've got an inclusionary policy. We want things to start working. When you put on the switch, you want the lights to come on. When you turn the tap on in the kitchen, the water must flow. When you flush the loo, it flushes. That's not happening. Our whole railway system has collapsed. Very sad. The whole railway system, the very system that has been put in place and money is budgeted for, has collapsed. That very system that is meant to transport poor people to their workplaces. Remember, the apartheid spatial planning policies kept poor people, and non-white people in particular, away from urban and industrial areas. So they've got to commute, they've got to travel. Today, they're all using taxis. Accident rates have increased, death rates have increased, potholes, the roads are in shambles. So we're saying we've got plans for these things in place. We've got many people on board who would like to contribute to a better future. And trust me, we can do it. But we need that political mandate. That is what we want. The political mandate.
We shouldn't have to download an app. We shouldn't have to download a load shedding app.
So that this country can begin to take another trajectory, an upward trajectory in the improvement of people's lives.
Well, look,
Thank you, Scott.
I think, Christopher, your big challenge is to actually secure, even if it's just one municipality, and by bringing your ideas in and turning that municipality into a model, like an Orania, for example, that the rest of South Africa would sit up and take note.
That is what we want, Scott. That is what we want now. We're pushing now for at least one municipality. We're going to show South Africa how serious we are and how we're going to change people's life. We have zero tolerance when it comes to unemployment and also the homeless. Zero tolerance. For example, in Cape Town, Scott, you won't believe it. There's some people are renting a flat now for the past 40 years now. It's like a flat, 2 bedrooms and some are 3-bedroom flats. Some of them are 4 stories high, some of them are 2 stories, some of them are 3 stories high. You know what? The people are renting that flats now for 40 years now, Scott. Can't they even have the, you know, it becomes so frustrated to me Today I've been again in that flats area. Why can't I just give the flats to them and tell them, okay, you've paid this flat over and over and over through. Why just pay for the transfer cost is all what we want you to do. But you know what? It costs the municipality so much money. They need to do the maintenance. With something breaks, they must still go to the people. Can't we just change people's lives? Isn't it what, Scott, you know what? I want to encourage all the viewers here tonight here. It's not about us. It's not about Spectrum. We have the plan to change everybody's lives. It's now so sad to see that even the whites standing on the robots and begging now for money now and for food. Can you believe it? Where are we going to now? And we don't see the reason that we should go that route. We have a plan, but people believe in, especially the blacks, they believe in Nelson Mandela because every start they said, stop thinking about Nelson Mandela now. He has done his bit now. It's about us now. Let us work together, and we need the blacks to vote for Spectrum and to come on board because they're 80% of the country's population. Otherwise, we're going to struggle again.
Can I just add to that? Can I just add to that, Christopher? And that is stop blaming apartheid and Jan van Riebeck for all the trouble that the ANC have got. Now, I'm going to ask you one final question, Christopher. Then I've got a few questions for you from other people. What are your challenges as a new party? What are your biggest challenges?
Yeah, only funding is the only thing. It's only funding. If we can get funding for our flyers and for our members of Forum, Scott, then we can go. Because it is the challenge we have with our ward candidates. Some of them really want to do the job. We don't have the funding, so we try now what little we have. It's the only challenge that we have at this moment. And number two is the challenge we have is the ANC members threatening our mayor candidates, threatening our ward candidates, not to stand as a representative in an ANC ward. This is the only challenge we currently have now. And I want to encourage all the blacks who are challenging our Spectrum National Party of members, please stop doing it. Because while we're not going to do this for ourselves, we want to do it for you also. You know for the fact that the ANC is not taking care of you. And we as a party take care of every citizen in this country, irrespective of your race, your religion, your gender. We are there to change your life. And we want everybody to get the best out of this country. And we can do it, but we need to work together. We cannot do this alone without you.
Right. Okay. Now, I've got another question for you, John. Tokolosh, and that's his username, has asked, will they hang murderers and rapists or mollycoddle them?
Well, would SNP do that?
Yeah, if it got into government.
Look. Our current policy on we have a serious problem currently in South Africa, where a murderer, a guy who blatantly and with direct intent goes out there and shoots people for no apparent reason, for nothing, kills them. The guy gets sentenced to 5 life terms. Now, this is not documented anywhere, but over the last 27 years, we've learned that life in South Africa actually means plus minus 20 to 25 years. And you somehow get an automatic review where you go up for assessment and so forth. What's the board called? Parole board. You're called up before the parole board, and if you've behaved over those 20 to 25 years, and you've behaved pretty well, you've been cleaning the floors, you've been washing the dishes, and so forth, and you haven't been in a lot of trouble and so forth, you are then granted freedom with certain conditions, which I think are also very weak and hardly met. The parole officers monitoring and so forth and so forth. We say, and I know the death sentence is a very sensitive issue and so forth, but I like the stance of Botswana, the Republic of Botswana, one of our neighbors. Botswana has minimal crime, and it's one of the very few countries that still has the death sentence. That still imposes the death sentence.
It's a huge deterrent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. My point is simple. My point is in South Africa, we sort of start halfway. The guy's killed somebody. He's now convicted and so forth. He's sentenced to 25 years. Now, with Botswana says, and I tend to like their point. They say South Africa starts halfway. The considerations are always about the perpetrator. The victim is left out. So they say, and I did a little bit of research on them. They say South Africa starts midway through the process. Botswana says, no, we start from the very beginning. You are not allowed to kill with direct intent. And when you kill with direct intent, we then start from that. We start from zero, where you've done the killing. We take it an eye for an eye. You go right through the process. You can appeal. You have all your attorneys, your lawyers. You go through the whole judicial system and so forth until execution day comes. Now, I know this is very controversial and so forth. But Scott, the problem we face in South Africa is one of extreme anxiety and depression as far as crime is concerned. Families are losing their loved ones on a daily basis. These guys are freed by this very government to walk on the streets, right in the road where these evil and heinous deeds have been committed. Now, we say that needs to stop. Whether the death sentence is a deterrent or not, I'm not too sure about that. But the principle of an eye for an eye, and considering the trauma of the victim. The victims feature nowhere in this whole system. It is always about the rights of the perpetrator. So we argue against that. We say, what about the victim?
No, I take it from what you're saying, that you're saying, yes, you will bring in the death penalty for serious crimes.
What we will do in that instance, Scott, is when the communities out there, the South African public at large, give us the mandate, we would then take this out to the public and say, what do you think? What do you want? Remember, when we get into power, when they give us that mandate, we will be there to serve. And we will be directed by the public at large as far as what they want. If they don't want it, that's fine. If they want it, that's also fine. So that is what we will do. We will go out to the public and say, please tell us what you would like to see. No. That is what we.
Well, I think you'll get an overwhelming yes, quite honestly. No, I
really do think so.
Scott, we just
it is also important that to understand that we have to overhaul the judicial system, because before you impose a death penalty, you have to make sure that your judiciary is functioning properly. At this point of time, the way the judicial system is, how can you impose a death penalty when we don't even know how the judicial system is working properly? So until we overhaul the entire system and we take an eye for an eye, which I agree, if it's an intent to kill, right, well, then it's a heinous crime, right? But we have to overhaul the judiciary. We have to make sure the right competent people are there that is actually even to make that decision. Yes. And it is very, very important, because we don't want the scenario of what happens in America at the moment. Because it's a first world country, but the sad reality is, even as in a first world country, the blacks are really targeted when it comes to judicial system there.
Right. Now, next question. Guys, next question. We've been going for 90 minutes. So I'm going to wrap up soon. I just want to get through these questions. This is for you, Christopher. Has Spectrum encountered or had encounters with the ULA, the secessionist group? And that's from Garnet.
No. We never, we didn't do it, Scott. The secession, like I say, it's not going to work really. A lot of people pushing for the secession to take place in the Western Cape. It's not going to work. The same thing happened when Namibia went into secession. They succeeded, and now they are a country on their own. But the same problems is still happening there. Everybody thought we're going to go in succession. What's going to happen? There will be peace. We will have a better life. But Namibia is also still facing the same struggles that we as South Africa is facing. So we just need to get a proper government who can run this country properly, and that is what we need. Then everybody can benefit equally, right to South Africa, black, white, brown, and Indian. It's all what it is. But secession, I don't see a problem. Over 100 years, we're gonna have a lot of political parties again in that province. So, which means we're gonna vote again. Now we're gonna split up that province again into two, because what's gonna be one half is another country and the other half is another country. We just need to get a proper political party who's fair and transparent with all race groups. That's all what I can say that can work for our country.
Okay, now Bruce Bastos has asked, if you become the ruling party, would you review or revise MPs and councillors' lotto-sized salaries?
Yeah, Scott, you know what, salaries, you know what, people think that is not a lot of, they earn too much money. But really, you know, it is so a lot of hard work. It is so stressing. I wish everybody sit in my position now. It's hard work. It is a lot of things you must eat up. It is. I don't want to encourage anybody to start a political party. You know what? You are challenged by everybody around the corner, and you really need to have nerves of steel. You understand? And luckily, as a pastor, you know what? I just need to praise God. Just calm me down. Give me the peace. And you know, when I go and sleep, I wake up at least twice every night. I wake up twice at least every night.
When do you go to sleep, Pastor? When do you go to sleep? You don't go to sleep.
Sidharth is going to sleep 2 o'clock he's going to sleep 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to sleep 2 o'clock in the morning. My mind is constantly thinking of new ideas, how we can make South Africa a better country. Yeah. So yeah, it is tough. It is really, really tough to be. So yeah, salary-wise, and we can say what we want to say. Remember, after 5 years, I quit my job now. I got a permanent job. I quit my job. Now I go to politics. Remember, you can only be there for 5 years. And after 5 years, there's no guarantee that you will get a job very soon. So I want everybody to be very reasonable to politicians as well, because I myself is a politician right now. So I'm not talking from the side now. I'm talking about now facing this thing directly now. When the politician loses his job, 5 years, how much will he earn in 5 years' time in the position where he was appointed? So after 5 years, I must look for another job. And what is the guarantee I will get it? I might be at home for the next 5 years. You understand? So who's going to fund me? Who's going to pay me? So at least if he earns a reasonable amount of salary every month, at least he can carry him through until he finds another job again. So yeah, I want all the viewers to be very reasonable to politicians. They're not earning, they get also tax as well. So for example, a ward councillor. Just think of a ward councillor quickly in Cape Town. A ward councillor earns 40,000 per month. 10% is going to the political party. They deduct, which means it's going to be 4,000 rand. So which means there's 36,000 the person's left with taxes, maybe another 2,000. So basically you're home with say 32,000, 34,000 going home. So it's a lot of money. When you buy him a house or a car, there is no money left. So just imagine, it sounds like a lot of money, but it is actually not a lot of money.
Right. No, I saw John was wanting to say something. Go ahead, John.
Yes. I would say, Scott, I have a problem with the salaries when people sit and sleep in chambers.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
I've got a problem with salaries when people waste the public's time by trying to sort out their own little internal battles and faction fights. Then I have a serious problem. I don't have a problem with the salary when the guys are working, they're delivering, there's this tangible deliveries out there. I don't have a problem with that. Streets are clean, there's running water, there's sanitation is working, electricity is working, and so I don't have a problem with that when the guys are working. In the private sector, you work 10 times harder than these guys work. Nothing is happening there. I mean, in South Africa, at our, parliamentary debates, when last have we had a proper, invigorating, sensible debate? When last?
Yeah. Now, look,
I
remember. I have to tell you, John, that I think when it comes to the ANC, the problem there is that they think they're working when their brain is engaged, even though there's nothing actually happening inside that brain, because they're so damn incompetent.
You are definitely never going to be allowed back in South Africa. I can assure you that right now, you got your stickers and boards at OR Tambo. do not take our Tambo because they will never let you back in the country.
I don't care because I'm not coming back till the ANC are gone. No. Okay, I've got one final question for you guys. And this is from Marius. And he says, what are plans to start implementing at least some of the stuff that you're talking about? What is their plans? Do you have a blueprint? Now, I guess this is for John.
Yes, we have blueprints. Thank you, Scott. We have blueprints. We've developed them within the party collectively, and viewers are free to view our plans and our thinking and our philosophy. They can go directly to our website, www.spectrumnationalparty.org, and they can engage us through that. Come again?
Sorry, John. It's spectrumnationalparty.co.za.
.co.za. Okay, sorry, my apologies. So they're free to engage us in that way. We've got a plan for each and every step of the way in terms of how we're going to turn things around. We've worked very hard day and night for the last 2.5 years. No remuneration, our own free time at our own expense and costs. No funding, no nothing. So we've worked very hard on these plans. And by the way, we are open to discussion. We are open for people to contribute to these plans. It's not cast in stone. If you come to us and say, look, this is what I think. We are this organization. We've come up with a good strategy. We are prepared to listen to anybody and everybody. Anything that can make this country work, we're prepared to listen to that. We're not prepared to listen to ideas that is going to take us 20 years back. We're not prepared to listen to that. We want everything good that can take us forward in this country. They're welcome.
Now, look, I'm going to wrap up the live stream now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up the same way we started. Now, I'll start with Nozuko first. Nozuko, if you become, or if you succeed in becoming a councillor or a mayor or a member of parliament, what's the first thing you are going to do?
Oh my goodness. As my president mentioned, one of the problems that we're sitting with in our country as a whole, it is unemployment rate, youngsters that are roaming around the communities, education system, housing problems. So these are the first three things. Oh my goodness, I cannot forget that. As an ex-police officer, crime.
Yeah.
Those 4 things that are the main challenges in the whole country in South Africa. And I can believe that you yourself, Scott, once when you were here in South Africa, you were scared to drive around in some of our areas in South Africa.
Absolutely.
So yes. So those are 4 challenges that we have that I would love us as Spectrum National Party to tackle right on the first step.
Right. Well, unemployment goes hand in hand with crime. Now, David, what about you? What's the first thing you would do?
No, I don't have one thing. I have many things. So
okay, tell us.
My focus is 2024. I always say to the guys, we're busy with this interim election. We're going in there. I'm going with them. I'm walking into areas that I've never been in, and some of them I have been in. So it's very exciting, and to speak to the people, because I'm the guy that loves people. I am for the people. But one thing, if you are going to ask me, David, what would you like to change in South Africa that you think you'll focus on? I'm always wanting to say that I've got this Donald Trump thing in my head. And why I'm saying this is because he did a few things in America. Yeah. Well, yeah. So drain the swamp. And now he's saying America first. I'm going South Africa first. Because the whole idea was he was looking after his own people. A lot of people say to me in South Africa, yeah, but Donald Trump, because he was there, our interest rates went up and we didn't make money. I said, you know what? Because he was focused on his own people. That's why unemployment was something of the past there.
Yeah.
Now it's back in there, but I don't want to go talk about Biden because then we're going to be the whole night here. So yes, because you can see I'm a Donald Trump fan, but it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, you know what? Let's close the borders. Let's build a wall. They go, what? I said, do the same.
Yeah.
Let's get the people in this country illegally, get them out. Let's get the people that's South African, get them working, because our jobs have been stolen by people just walking over the border. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
And then I'm focused on black people now. I'm not focused on white people or whatever. I'm on white capitalists and stuff like that. I'm focused on the people on the ground. Our South African people don't have work because of X, Y, and Z. The government decided, okay, we can open up this country, and everybody just walks in here and they just do whatever they want to do. That's why we got so much crime and poverty. It's a simple thing. Tax reform. Yeah, I'm telling you now, if we start just thinking, we've got 60 million people in South Africa. 5 million of these people are paying tax. The rest are not paying tax. I'm sorry, if you put a system in place with 60 million, all of us are going to be paying tax. I'm telling you now, I'm not talking about income tax. I'm talking about to get away from income tax. I actually want to get rid of income tax and say, you know what? We have a fee that we put on everything you buy in South Africa. There will be a tax on. Let's call it 10%. I'm not talking about VAT. Throw VAT out of the room. If 60 million people are contributing to the budget, I mean, how much money are we going to have to really get this country going? It's a simple math. It's not difficult, but we are trying to, we must get the rich to pay, and the poor must pay nothing.
I tell you what,
you've seen it doesn't work.
I tell you what the real problem is in South Africa, David. It's the hidden taxes. If you look at the levies and taxes they put on fuel, for example, because they can hide it, huge amount of tax in there. And you know what that's doing? That's pushing up inflation dramatically in South Africa, because everything needs to be moved by road.
Let me tell you something about petrol. If we get into power and we can change the policy, petrol will fall.
Yeah, dramatically, because you just have a straight
tax of 10% on everything you buy in South Africa. It doesn't matter if it's petrol, doesn't matter if it's milk, it doesn't matter if it's bread. You're going to pay your 10%, and that is it. It's so simple as that. Your money comes in, we distribute it, we make sure the government uses it and uses it properly. Because you know what? The rich will pay more. Why will they pay more? Because they'll buy more. They've got more money. The poor will buy little, and they'll pay little because they're not going to buy a lot. So don't come to me and say to me, oh, but you know, it's not right. You know, the poor people, we cannot tax them. I go, no, but you're missing the point. The point is, if I bring petrol down with 6 rand, right now, boom, we go 6 rand down in petrol. Imagine what's going to happen to our economical situation. Well, it's going to flourish. Everything is going to go down.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's not difficult mass. I don't know why we make everything so complicated. So what I'm saying from Spectrum National Party, from my side, what I'm focused on the bigger picture. Let's get everything out. Let's get the borders sorted out. Let's get tax reform done. Obviously, then, as you said, poverty and crime goes together. This thing will sort out itself almost. And then obviously we've got a lot of things we must work at. I mean, the government institutions need to get proper people in. We've talked about it tonight, that we need the right people in the right places to be able to do the job. And it is not difficult. We just need the people to start waking up and vote for the right party. That will be Spectrum National Party. Yes. Then we can take South Africa forward. Yes. We can do nothing if the people are not going to vote for us. And it frustrates me that we cannot even get onto media because, you know what, I know you're a small party, new party, we're not worried about you. We just want to listen to what the DA is going to say, what the ANC is going to say, and the EFF, don't mean start with them because, you know, they are the radicals. And I go, really? And then here and there you'll hear from the Vryheidsfront, and they go, you know, Vryheidsfront, white party. It's not going to work.
Yeah, well, look, I guess... Tokolosh, I guess you're going to have to climb under a rock because his question has now been answered. He says income tax came in during World War I as a temporary tax. Will they abolish it? Well, clearly they won't abolish it. Okay, so that answers that question.
No, where's the money going to come from? But income tax, I'll say, get rid of that. Let's rather just have a tax, and then that will work. We will obviously work it out the clever people have to do their sums and make sure what do we actually pay, what will be the percentage,
Right.
and then we'll take it from there.
Now, Sidharth, what's the first thing you would do if you got into, let's say, a member of parliament or something like that? What would be the first thing that you would do?
Well, what we're discussing right now, Scott, and what leader David said is, we are in a habit of complication, right? We simplify everything. We complicate everything, right?
But
Okay,
isn't Christopher your leader?
No, I'm saying what our leader David just said about that.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify.
You also leaders.
You could be in trouble with Christopher.
Now, leaders.
Please go ahead.
So all we want to do is that we want to create leadership, right? I want to create leadership where you're actually creating the new leadership that understand that getting rid of why getting rid of income tax makes sense. Why are these things that are simple things, but economically it makes sense because there's a void of leadership. So all I want to create is I want to create leaders who can understand, who can create, who can come with creative ideas around using technology because we are in a technological world, right? And that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start a leadership course where we actually have to create leaders. That's what we're lacking in the country. That's what we're lacking in the world. So my whole focus would be how to build the next generation, how to get the creativity out, and how to simplify things instead of actually complicating the whole situation as we have at the moment.
Right. Now, I just want to add to what you're talking about, because there was a political party in Australia that actually had a very, very clued up tax accountant come in, and he worked out that if you levied a 2% tax on everything that people bought or sold, you would actually be able to cover the entire budget. That was a 2% tax, because there would be no one ducking and diving and hiding and not paying their tax. So, you know, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Okay, now, I want to go to John. John, what's the first thing that you'd do if you got into a position of politically of power?
Well, if we got into as SNP, I would like to include the party there. If we got into power tomorrow, I think one of the most critical things that I would seriously look at is to get rid of all these corrupt people first.
Yes.
That's
you clean out the entire government then.
I will clean out if I had the power. If I had the power to sign on the dotted line and get my forces and administration to follow me, to do what I say, I would clean out. I would spend months cleaning out. Because, Scott, you cannot build on a shaky foundation.
No, I totally agree.
You cannot. So that is the first thing that I would do. Obviously, parallel to some other priorities and so forth that other leaders would be looking at, that other members would be looking at. But my central focus would be to clean out all three spheres of government. Trust me, and I would do a very good job about it. Probably parallel to that, I would have to build extra prisons.
That's fine. Let's do that.
Modern prisons.
Yeah, modern. They can work. They must work in the prison for now.
Well, I think the key word there is meritocracy.
What about the existing politicians? Where are we going to keep them?
Sorry, say that again, Sidharth.
I'm saying, what about our existing ANC politicians? Where are we going to keep them?
Oh, look, you put them on Robben Island.
Yeah.
Send them back. You need a big prison, that's for sure.
Our special prison called Old Age Home Prison.
I mean, Sir Ramaphosa has got a few farms. They can go stay on his farm. Just hold the community there. Stay there.
Yeah.
I think you'd have to hog tie the guy, otherwise he'd be burbling on the whole time. I'm so tired of his lies. No,
absolutely, I'm so tired of his lies. He's a salesperson. He actually sold me a story. He reminded me of my past. He's a salesperson and he's the biggest liar ever. I'm sorry.
There's no leadership. There's just liarship. Now, I'm going to shut off this live stream with getting a final word from Christopher. Christopher, let's take a hypothetical situation where the SNP become government. What is the first thing that's critically important to you as president of the party to achieve?
Thank you, Scott. Scott, before I answer that, where's our friend Jan van Riebeeck? He hasn't commented or asked any questions. Where is he? How is he doing?
Oh, no, JVR, he's actually working. This poor guy, he's in the UK. Can you believe it? Jan van Riebeeck's in the UK. And yeah, unfortunately, he works night shifts, so he can't actually come on. But he does watch the live streams afterwards. So he'll have a big smile on his face that you remembered him. But yeah, back to you, Christopher.
If you don't watch this video on YouTube, please, we miss your chats tonight or your comments, and we're looking forward to have you on night again next time. Yeah, Scott, let's get back to the real facts here, right? Number one, okay, remember this is local municipality. I'm not talking about national municipalities. We're gonna have a talk again when we go to national elections. So what's gonna happen? The first thing we have identified really the problems is the housing issues, the unemployment. So we're gonna start. It will take us about 6 months to really do a full auditing on really the true figures of the income of each municipality. You know what? Auditors can also cheat the system and jump the system. So the first 6 months, when we take over a municipality, we're going to sit and study every policy because we need to understand every policy in the municipality, right? It's going to be the first thing. While we're doing that, we will get our people out there in the municipality to go and identify or do a survey how many people are homeless and how many people are unemployed. So we will get a team just to go. Municipalities are not that big. Within 6 months' time, we will be able to know exactly the figures. Right. Once we know the figures, after 6 months, we'll be able to know what is our budgets, where is money unnecessarily spent, where can we create more jobs. So this is what we're going to do really with the new budget once we have identified once we have received the correct budget for the municipality. So we're going to make an identified piece of land, Scott. We're going to make sure that we are going to make land available. We're going to split the two teams, the working team and the non-working team, so that we can get these people into their own homes. Because why they are sick and tired, living in a Wendy house, living in a zinc house, in a squatter camp, without water, without electricity, in all these luxury facilities. So that's going to be the one thing. And then automatically we were going to see how much money is there to make money available for the cooperative system that we're going to start. We need to build new industrial areas, create more jobs. More jobs means we bring the pressure, we're reducing the crime rate. This is what we're going to focus on. And also the health system as well, because a lot of clinics are controlled by a municipality. So we're going to make sure that there's faster systems. You know, Sidharth is from India. Now, you know that the Indians, I don't know where they get this. So Sidharth is responsible for our app designs. He's not just an African Indian, he's an Indian. So I don't know where they get the skill, the technology skill from, but he is just our expert in technology and app designs. And yeah, you know what, Scott? And we're going to really build smart technology system. There is zero space or place for corruption. What are you going to do, for example? I'm going to take my phone now. If you take this phone, we're going to split this phone in 3. So the top part will be green, the middle part will be orange, and the bottom part will be red. There is no way that the accountants will make payments that goes into the orange. You see, political parties, sometimes they design their system in such a way they can still steal. So Spectrum is going to have a cutoff. So before you get to the orange, the system, if salaries is 1 million rand, the moment somebody pay 1 million in 1 rand, the system automatically blocks you from making any payments. So then our investigation team will go out and find out, why are you paying 1 million in 1 rand? Remember what people are doing, they load ghost employees on the system. You understand? They loaded ghost employees, which means like happened with the SASA cards.
Yeah.
The SASA cards, they create so much SASA cards that we will never know really what the budget is for. So we will know as a party that there's only 1 million is salaries. Then it cuts out, we go to our investigation team there and have a help with the accountant attempting to make 1.1 million in R1. So we're really going to design that every department will be monitored, and we're going to make sure that no corruption will take. We're even looking at the option where we really not going to make use of tendering processes, because my tendering process is where corruption gets. So we're going to get to the root of the problem and try to stop the tendering processes. We're rather going to say, security guards, you're going to work now for our municipality. Cleaners, you're going to work, you will become now employee. Because we need to really destroy and get to the root of the corruption system. So we will do anything in our power to make sure that you as the taxpayer, that money could have been used for so many other things. That poor security guard will earn now 1,000 and more. That cleaner will earn 1,000 more. You can really add that money to food or whatever the need is. So we really, Scott, this is the two things we're going to do, and start putting up cameras. And I know those who are in the security industry, we're going to put up the pole. The pole is about 20 to 30 meters high. We're going to put up poles there. We're going to put the PTZ cameras in there. We will monitor the entire municipality or the entire ward. There's no room for criminals. We will trace you. We will chase you. We will catch you. We will lock you up. There is zero tolerance when it comes with crime. And Nozuko sitting next to me here, we're going to chase. And she said to me, she work in the colored areas. She said, one thing about the coloreds, you can never catch them. They are fast. They climb. Police can never catch them. That's what happened. She worked there. She said she couldn't. But we will catch them. That PTZ camera will zoom in wherever hiding spots you try to hide. There is zero tolerance. In South Africa, if we need to go to the death penalty, we will do that. There is zero grace anymore. You cannot kill people and you get away with it.
I'm saying exit the politician and enter the idea. That's where we need to be. We need to
because Scott, yeah, this is the first thing we're going to do. This is the first thing we're going to do now. At least there's a start, and we're going to make sure that really that we take care. And all foreigners need to go back to their countries. Unfortunately, we need to create jobs for South Africans first. Yeah. And when the need comes to employ foreigners, and don't get me wrong, we got some good foreigners there. They are very committed. They work hard. They don't stay out of work. Yes, South Africans are lazy. They don't even want to work for 4,500. They are lazy. And as foreigners, they work for that money. But we need to clean our South Africa and send them back and really start first with Africans. And then we will at a later stage look at foreigners on contract periods and so on. But yeah, let's start with the basic things. Sort the people out first. And then after we're going to develop that municipality into a first world municipality, first class municipality, and change people's lives for good.
Well, I have to say that I don't agree with a lot of what China does, but they've got it sorted when it comes to corrupt government officials. I don't know if you're aware of this, but they actually execute them. They actually execute them.
True.
And it doesn't matter how much it is. If you're a corrupt government official, you get executed without any questions. Now, just imagine how you'd bring down the population of South Africa if you brought that in.
I don't think we are Hitlers or something.
Scott, if you watch on YouTube that Americans Got Talent, that gentleman who was he was actually sentenced for, I think, for 30-something years. Then they discovered that he was not the murderer of a case there. So we need to be very careful with the death penalty. People can be on a death row for maybe 5 years. Maybe sometimes, you know what happens? I'm talking about that in our colored areas, that when the three of us are together, and then maybe David commit a crime, he kills somebody, and David is going to say, Chris, I'm not going to stand for this case. You're going to stand for this case. So Chris is now scared and say, okay, I will stand as the murderer, because if I don't stand or take the case on me, then David will kill me. You understand now? So
I think David's car drove out of control when he was in his Formula One.
Yeah, so we need to be very careful with the death penalty. I think we should give every accused of any guilty person a 5-year death row period before we going that route. But we cannot allow that anybody just kill anybody. It's unacceptable. Right. Cannot tolerate it, and we will put our foot down on crime.
Yeah, fantastic.
There will be checks and balances.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, look, I just want to thank you all for joining us tonight. It's been a very interesting discussion. And I hope that people have been watching, have enjoyed it as well. I've tried to make it as light as possible because, it is a serious subject, what's happening in South Africa. So thank you so much, Christopher, Nozuko, John, Sidharth, and David for joining us. And please have a great evening, guys.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you
Viewers,
so
well,
much.
Scott, and also I want to tell the viewers, please, we're still looking for mayor candidates in South Africa. If you're interested to join us, please go or WhatsApp us on 072-493-6865. And if you want to make a donation, please feel free to go to our website, www.spectrumnationalparty.co.za. There is a PayPal option where you can make a donation so that we can change your life for good as well. And thank you so much, Scott. We really appreciate your time. And looking forward before the elections to meet up with you again.
Good. Now, when you take over government, we'll definitely have another discussion. Now, can you just repeat that 072 number for me?
Sorry, Scott?
Can you repeat your cell number?
072 493 6865. 072 493 6865.
Okay, look, I'll just drop that in the side chat so that people can,
and
give you a
let
call.
you, we'll also let you back in the country, okay, for a visit. And we'll make sure that you're safe. We'll make sure of that.
I'll come and fetch you my Ferrari. Don't worry.
We'll get you to sort out the ANC, David. All right, guys.
How beautiful, a true rainbow nation, yes, Scott.
Absolutely, I love it.
The one for South Africa.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, guys, take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you,
Cheers.
Scott. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, guys, there you have it. That was Spectrum National Party, and good group of guys. It was an interesting discussion, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll leave the side chat open for a few minutes so you can put your comments in the side chat or just say goodbye to each other. And don't forget, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Johannesburg time, we'll have another live stream. Cheers for now. Oh, and before I go, I just want to say thank you to the moderators, of course, for the great work that they do in looking after the side chat. And thank you for everybody who's joined us. Oh, and finally, all those guests on lovinglivetv.com, please go to the top of the page, click on home, and register, because this is going to be the biggest online news platform on the internet. That's our goal. And every day we will be sending out emails to everybody who's registered. So you'll be able to literally click on links for videos that have come up, articles that have gone into the forums, all that sort of information, so you can be kept informed of what's going on in South Africa. Okay, guys, take care and bye for now.